السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له. نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولا تكونوا كالتي نقضت غزلها من بعد قوة أنكاثا. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: خير الأعمال أدومها وإن قل. صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم، وعلى ذلك الشاهدين والشاكرين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us numerous blessings, and one of the greatest blessings that has just passed in the previous month, the beautiful month of Ramadan. And we often think that once Ramadan ends and the spiritual high starts to fade away, we are destined to fall back on our old ways pre-Ramadan. We feel like, oh, this was a lost cause. I did all of this ibadah in the month of Ramadan, and now back to square one in the first day of Shawwal. This feeling of losing hope and being in despair, this isn't the first time any Muslim has felt this post-Ramadan. This isn't the first time any Muslim has come across such a problem. If we look at the Salaf, one great individual, 9th century scholar by the name of Bishr al-Hafi, he has a few unique stories that I want to just mention. And people know of him, of what he became afterwards, but a lot of times they miss who he was prior to becoming a saint, prior to becoming a wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, he ended up becoming a colleague and a teacher of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. But Bishr was actually known for his lavish parties. He was an avid party goer. And not only that, he would drink and he would neglect his deen. So one time, when there was a night where he was walking home drunk, intoxicated, and he came across a small piece of paper on the floor. Bishr came across a small piece of paper on the floor. And on that piece of paper, it said the Basmala. It said, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So he was still Muslim. Yes, he was a sinful Muslim, but he was still Muslim. So he came across this paper, he picked it up, and he was, even though he was in a drunken state, he was shook that this is the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How could this paper be on the floor? So he picked it up. And he wasn't very wealthy, but he had his mind set that whatever money I have left, I'm going to go to the nearest itar shop, most expensive itar shop, and I'm going to purchase some itar. I'm going to clean this paper that has the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because it deserves the highest rank, it deserves the most adab and respect and honor. So he went ahead and he grabbed it and he cleaned it and he perfumed it with whatever money he had left remaining. So that night he came and he went to sleep. And in his dream, a voice said to him, Ya Bishr. Beautiful statement. He said, Ya Bishr, طيبت اسمنا فطيبنا اسمك في الدنيا والآخرة. O Bishr, you have perfumed our name, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, You have perfumed our name on that piece of paper. So we're going to perfume your name in this dunya and in the akhirah. You showed honor to our name in the dunya. We're going to show honor to your name and your legacy in the dunya, but most importantly in the akhirah. And this was just by him doing a quote-unquote small action. We always think of that, that's just a little deed. What is that deed going to do for me? Big or small, the most important aspect of the deed is that there is consistency. MashaAllah, there are kids here memorizing Quran. They know that the consistency, when you come back from a long break, 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off, teacher says, hey, why didn't you do your sabak? Hey, why didn't you do your al-mukhta? Like, oh man, I wasn't reading. So now, sabak stopped. Right? Again, reviewing, quarter, half para, one juz. They're reviewing. Consistency. They realize this aspect of consistency. That if I'm not consistent with my recitation, then that recitation, that those ajazah that I memorize, they're going to slowly fade away. The same thing with us that are living our lives, are not memorizing Quran, whatever we're doing. The consistency of our ibadah, if it's not done, slowly it's going to fade away. And there's another riwayah, there's another transmission talking about Bishr again, where one time an alim, he was passing by Bishr's house, and there was this loud music just blasting from the house, just music on music. So there was a slave in front of the house. The alim asked, is the owner of this house, صاحب هذا الدار حر أم عبد? Is the owner of this house, is he a slave or is he a free person? So the slave, she said that no, he's a free man. The alim sighed and said that, yeah, that's true. You're right. Because if he was a slave, then he would have feared the master. If he was a true slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then he would have feared the ultimate master, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bishr overheard this conversation. And this is mentioned in Risala al-Qushayriya. So when Bishr heard these words, it pierced his soul. It pierced him real hard. So he ran out. He didn't even get a chance to put on his shoes. He ran after that man. And he was crying and weeping and shouting. And he said, Bala abdun, bala abdun. He said, no, I'm not a free man. I'm a slave. I'm a slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And from that day on, that's why he's called Bishr al-Hafi, the individual who is barefooted. Bishr, the barefoot man. Because he wanted to stay in that state that he was in when he finally reconciled with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He did tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He went from a man, of the nightlife to the man of the night prayer. By like that. No. And he became the one who is famously said in Lataif al-Ma'arif that بئس القوم لا يعرفون الله إلا في شهر رمضان إن الصالح الذي يتعبد ويجتهد السنة كلها. Bishr is known for the individual that is said, the statement that how wretched and how evil are those individuals who they don't really know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except in the month of Ramadan. He said they don't know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except in the month of Ramadan. He said, who are the truly righteous individuals? Who are the salihun? Here they are those individuals, they don't just worship when Ramadan comes. They worship throughout the year. They worship throughout the months. Now, they're not your Ramadani Muslims. Iman doesn't just come to them in the month of Ramadan. No, they are Muslim throughout the year. Through the hardships, through the ease, every single scenario, they are Muslim. And I want us to check ourselves. Sometimes we battle, alhamdulillah, we live in such a state of luxury here in the West that we battle our laziness So we must realize that we have the ability, mashallah, to come to the masjid, where millions and thousands of individuals would desire that. You think, of your brothers and sisters that are minutes, they can see Aqsa complex from their backyard. They can see Aqsa complex from their house. But they're barred. They're barred. They can't go 2 minutes, 3 minutes away to the masjid. Whether it's a checkpoint, whether it's some steel gates. They long to prostrate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well, where the prophets prayed. But they're turned away. Turned away. And those are the individuals that live minutes away. I was even listening to some stories of our local scholars that went to Aqsa. They have a few gates to get into the masjid. They went to the first gate, they were turned away. Second gate, they were turned away. Third gate, they were turned away. Fourth gate, they were turned away. Fifth gate, turned away. Sixth gate, turned away. They weren't able to go to the masjid. They traveled all the way from here to go, and they were turned back. So we really have to check ourselves. Now, we have the keys, they have the chains. We have the keys to the masjid. Now, for us to leave our masajid empty post-Ramadan fatigue is a form of ingratitude. And one of the words of ingratitude in the Quran is kufr. We always associate kufr to that individual that does not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another form of kufr is that you are ungrateful for the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. That's another form of kufr. It hits very hard. No? It hurts very hard. Because we don't want to associate ourselves with this aspect of kufr. No. All this hard work that we did in the month of Ramadan, all of that hard work, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّتِي نَقَضَتْ غَزْلَهَا مِنْ بَعْدِ قُوَّةٍ أَنْكَاثًا. That don't be like that individual who night after night, day after day, plan their routine of how many recitations they're going to do, how many salawat I'm going to do, how many prayers I'm going to pray in the masjid. And all of that, after the month goes, we just untie every single deed, one by one. نَقَضَتْ غَزْلَهَا. Don't be like that person. Just unties all of the deeds. You have that muscle memory that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given. Even though it's been a week. It's not late. It's not late. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you to be here. We have some type of ability and hope that we're here in the masjid. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَاسْتَقِمْ كَمَا أُمِرْتَ. That you remain steadfast. Just like how you have been commanded to do so. You haven't just been commanded in the month of Ramadan. We haven't just been commanded to come and be Muslims in the month of Ramadan. It's throughout the whole year. It's throughout every scenario. Whether we're at work, whether we're at school, wherever we may be. And I had a friend text me just a few days after Ramadan. He's like, how? You have any post-Ramadan advice? You have any post-Ramadan advice? What can I do? What can I do? I told him, we have to be practical at the same time. I'm not going to tell you, you're going to fast every single day, you're going to pray tahajjud every single night, and you're going to be doing all of the same a'mal. Okay, obviously, reality has to sit in as well. But what I did tell him was, all of the a'mal that you were doing, don't stop any of those a'mal, but just do some percentage of that. Any percentage of all of the a'mal that you were doing. So whether you're fasting, plan to fast some days throughout the month. Whether you are reciting the Quran, plan to read for a few minutes every day. Whether you are praying Taraweeh, plan to pray some tahajjud, some extra nawafil throughout the day. Consistency. خير الأعمال أدومها وإن قل. أحب الأعمال أدومها وإن قل. That the most beloved of deeds to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are those deeds that are consistent, even if they are small. He didn't say they have to be big. He said even if they're small, even if they're qaleel. Very small amount. So we look at the news, it's difficult reading about the wars and the instability in the different regions across the Muslim world. So it's easy to fall into despair. We see the news and we feel completely powerless. But we understand that the Prophet ﷺ reminded us that the believer is never truly unarmed. He is always armed in a sense. الدعاء سلاح المؤمن وعماد الدين ونور السماوات والأرض. The Prophet ﷺ said that this aspect of asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this aspect of making dua, this is the weapon of the believer. This is the pillar of the deen. This is the light of the heavens and the earth. So it's a weapon that goes beyond any borders. Your dua is a missile that no defense system can stop. It reaches the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everybody else could be sleeping, but that dua will reach Allah. So you can't ask for a victory on a global front or a global battlefield if you are losing the battle within the soul in the house. When the Sahaba they faced overwhelming odds, they didn't just count their swords. How many horses do I have? How many soldiers do we have? They knew the equation, that internal reform equals external victory. You need that. So if you want to change any condition of the ummah, the change has to start from within. Your sajda is an aspect of strength. So you don't leave the news cycle, you don't let the news cycles paralyze you. Be the Muslim who is always ready, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, what have you. So a nation that continues its deeds, not just in Ramadan, but throughout the whole year, is a nation that shows sincerity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That means, yes, I am Muslim every single day of the year. And that is showing my sincerity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to be Rabbani, those that remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala consistently, not just Ramadani, those individuals that remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just in the month of Ramadan. We honor our freedom. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with freedom living here, to be able to go places that others are not able to go. Remember that the small habits that you have, the consistency, that is the key to success. And the dua that the Prophet ﷺ and the Salaf would make, that Ya muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qulubana ala dinik. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant victory to Muslims across the globe. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.